This word is for the people who are believing God, trusting God for what it is that He said that He's going to do, whatever that looks like for you. However, I feel like overall, I just sense in my spirit that for the most part, the people who this word is for, they're waiting on a total restoration. I literally just heard God say that, a total restoration. You're not waiting on one particular thing, two things. Like, you are literally waiting on God to restore your entire life, like to literally take you from this to that. And you can sense that, like I said in one of my previous videos, that you're in the final wait. You know that it's right at your fingertips. I was just sitting thinking to myself, talking I don't want to say talking to myself, but talking to God. I was saying, like, it feels as though the promise is right there. Like, I can taste it, I can smell it. The only thing that can make it more real is for it to happen. I compared the feeling that I feel to, I compared it to like playing with a baby or playing with a small child. Say you have a toy in your hand and they're like asking you for the toy, and it's like, here. You allow them to touch the toy, kind of grasp onto the toy, but the minute that they think they're getting a good grip on the toy or whatever it is that they want, you like pull the toy back a little bit or raise it higher a little bit, and at first the baby is like laughing, the baby thinks it's funny, the little kid thinks it's funny. But then it gets to a point, it's like, okay, give it here and give it here now and stop playing with me. Of course, God isn't holding our promise, holding our restoration over our head in a joking way or to play games, mind games with us. That's not what I'm saying. But I know that if this video is for you, that you can relate to feeling like it's right at your fingertips. You can touch it. Like, you feel as though you already have it, but you don't have it yet. And it's like you need it. I was writing in my journal just a little bit ago, and I was like, my soul needs this. My soul is yearning for this. It's more, at this point, it's more than I just desire to have a new life, or I've been waiting long enough and now I really want it, and I want it now, and I'm throwing a fit or getting antsy or throwing a spiritual tantrum. No, it feels as though I absolutely have to have this. I even said it feels as though I'm 99.99999% out of my situation and into the new that God has been showing me. But I just need that one small percent. And that 1% is killing me. But God wants you to know He's not playing games with you. It's not a joke for Him. It's not funny to Him. In fact, God wants this to happen more than you do. God desires to restore you, to bring His promise to completion more than you do. My son asked me to take him to this trampoline park place, and we were with his friend at the time. So of course his friend wanted to go as well, and they were all excited. And so he kept asking me, can we go? I knew that I wanted to take him. I knew that I was going to take him. But I just kept saying, I don't know. We'll see. Just get in the car. Let's just go. We were at the park at the time. I could tell. And if you have children, then I'm sure that you know what I mean. Or even when you were a child, it's like your parent doesn't give you a clear yes or no answer. And it's just like, I really need to hear either yes or no. Even if it's no, please just let me know, because I have my hopes up. I really want this thing, and I really don't want to be disappointed. Like, I'm really not in the mood for surprises. So time is passing, and I still really didn't want to give him a clear answer. I kind of hinted to it, but I never gave him a clear answer. As time went on, he started to perceive that I actually was going to take him. But by this time, his friend was at home. He couldn't go or whatever. And so it's just me and my son. I ended up telling him that we were going to go or whatever. But I told him that I needed to stop somewhere before we went. And so, of course, he's like, oh, where are we going? How long is it going to take? Are we going to run out of time? I don't want to run out of time. I really want to go. And he's getting all anxious. And I'm like, look, chill. We are going to go. I just need to make this stop and we'll be on our way. But of course, when a mama says just one stop, it's never just one stop. We ended up going 2 or 3 places. But I had already looked up what time the place closed and calculated, how much time we would have, what time we needed to head up there and things like that. But he didn't know anything about my preparations. He didn't know that I had already worked out all of those details. I remember after we left the last place and I told him that we were heading that way, obviously he got excited. He's watching every turn we make. He knows how to get to this place. He's like, you need to turn here. We could get there faster. Like, he was not playing. I took a different way that he really isn't used to us going. He didn't realize that obviously, I was taking a shortcut and things of that sort. He thought that we were taking a detour. He thought that we were going out the way. He just could not seem to understand why was I going the way that I was going versus the way that he was used to us going. But then once we were at the intersection of the street that the place is off of, he was able to tell that we were there. And of course, he got excited. You really are taking me, Mom. We are here. We are going, of course, like getting excited, all happy. In that moment, I remember feeling a satisfaction of seeing my child happy, of course, and being excited for something. He's been doing well in school. So I told him this year, every week we'll go somewhere fun. And so, of course, I was happy and excited, probably just as happy and excited as he was to take him there because he deserved it. And I remember as he was saying those things like, wow, I'm so glad we ended up going and things like that as we were pulling up, it really made me put myself in his position and God in my position as a parent, as my father. And I could feel the Holy Spirit impressing on my heart like, I'm the same way with you. I'm the same way with my children. I don't tell you all the details. I don't put you on everything, not so that you feel confused or so that you feel anxious, but simply because it's a surprise. Simply because there is joy in seeing my child surprised. There's joy in seeing my child happy, excited. If you could imagine, my son was overjoyed. He could barely contain his excitement. Soon as I parked the car, he's jumping out, he's inside, and I'm like, wait a minute, slow down. But at the same time, I can't get upset because I know that he's excited. I know how bad he's been wanting to get to this particular place. I remember way back earlier that day when we were at the park, when he first initially told me that he would like to go somewhere else. He started rambling off all these different places and things, but in his speech, I could tell which one he really wanted to go to. And so I asked him, I said, where do you really want to go? And so he said this particular place, which I knew that he would. And I even felt something in my spirit in that moment. Like God saying, you think I don't know what you want? You think when I ask you these questions, tell me your heart's desires, tell me what you need in this moment, put everything that's on your heart before me. You don't think I already know what you need? You don't think I already know your heart's desires? So when I finally brought my son to that place, gave him his heart's desire, it wasn't just for him. In one way or another, I did it for my own satisfaction as well. God is restoring your life. He's bringing you total restoration, not just because it's something that you want, Not just because it's something that you like, not just because it's something that you desire. First and foremost, he desires it. We get all anxious, we get all upset, we get all thrown off when it looks as though God is taking detours and God is going ways that we feel like he shouldn't. And it's like, wait a minute, God, why aren't we doing it like this? Why aren't we doing it like that? And God is like, I got this. I know the beginning to end. My son didn't know what time this place closed. He didn't know how long he was going to be able to play at this place. And he most definitely didn't know the best route to take to get there. And it's the same with us. Don't get so wrapped up in all the small details that you miss the joy in just sitting back relaxing. Sitting back and not having a care in the world. Children have absolutely nothing to worry about. They don't have to worry about getting a job, having any money, figuring out what they're going to eat for the day. For the most part, children are just carefree. Or at least that's the way that it should be. A child should be able to be carefree, have no stresses, no concerns, no worries. They should be able to put all that responsibility on their parents. I remember I was taking my son to school the other day, and he asked me did he have a particular thing in his backpack. I can't remember. And so I said, yes, I already put it in your backpack. And so he said, okay. And it was just something about the way that he said, okay, that I could sense he trusts me. He relies on me. If I say that I got him, then he feels like I got him. If I say that I did something for him, he doesn't have to go check. He doesn't have to double back behind me. If I say that it's his, if I say that I've done it, then he believes that. He stands on it. And that's the same way that we should be with God. If God says, I'm going to take care of the finances for you to finance this business, why do you not already have your business plan mapped out? Why do you not already know in your mind what it is you need, how much it's going to cost? Why isn't it all written down, listed out, ready to go? Why aren't you in a place where you're ready to move? Don't wait till you have the money to start trying to make the plans. Don't wait till you have the new house to figure out what light company you're going to go with and what color is your decor going to be. Figure out all of those things now. Start planning ahead, because when God spoke those things over your life, it was considered done. It's not for no reason that you feel like you're so close to your blessing, that you're so close to your breakthrough. It's not by coincidence. And I know if this video is for you, you're going to understand when I say there's a different type of yearning. There's a different type of need for your restoration. There's a different type of desire for your new life. God put that there. It's not because you're frustrated. I know it feels like you're growing weary. I know it feels like you just want that thing so bad that you are about to burst. But believe it or not, this desire is from the Most High. He's putting that sense in your spirit because he wants you to wake up to the fact that this thing is truly about to happen for you. And this is not just another cute video with well put together words saying it's here, it's happening, suddenly, all of a sudden. No, God is saying it is he who has put that burning desire to see your restoration come to pass in your spirit. I remember the week of the day that I would go into labor. Obviously, I didn't know. I didn't know that my body was soon to go into labor. Obviously, I knew that I was 9 months pregnant. I knew that I was past my due date. I knew that this baby had to come out sooner or later. But I didn't know that I was in the week of my delivery, in the week of my labor. I thought that I was sick of being pregnant in the 8th month, in the beginning of the 9th month, in the middle of the 9th month. But during that week, there was a different type of desire in me to bring that baby into life. There was a different yearning about me. Not only did I desire mentally to birth my child, but physically, even spiritually, I was craving, yearning, burning to birth this child. In the day of, I took 3 naps. I've never taken 3 naps in one day, ever. But obviously, God had prepared my body to go into labor. God was preparing me mentally, physically, spiritually to bring new life to pass. And I remember when I laid down for that third nap thinking, I must be going into labor soon. It wasn't because of what I saw with my eyes. Yes, I was more tired than usual, but I just truly felt a sense in my spirit. And it's the same with us who this video is for. There is a reason why you sense so strongly in your spirit that any moment now, your new life is about to pop out. Any moment now, that baby is going to be birthed. God is not trying to play with your mind. God isn't trying to see how much you can take. God is not trying to test you and seeing how long you can hold out on this blessing, how long you can hold out on this promise. He's not trying to see for how long you can have faith that it's going to come to pass. He's not waiting on you to believe in him. He's not waiting on you to up your faith. You are simply waiting on the appointed time. Do not allow the enemy to make you think otherwise. You're not waiting on you. And I know that as you scroll up and down YouTube and you see various videos saying, this is why your promise hasn't came to pass. This is what's blocking your blessing. Satan is going to try to tempt you to believe that those words are for you. That some way or another, God is trying to hint at you that it's something that you're doing. This is in no way, shape, or form for everybody. But if this video is for you, God is saying there is nothing else left for you to do. There are no changes that need to take place. And in the same sense as a baby, women believe that they can take castor oil and go on walks and do all type of various things in order to quote unquote naturally induce labor. But God is saying nothing is going to induce this labor. Nothing is going to speed up this labor. It doesn't matter how long you pray. It doesn't matter how long you praise. It doesn't matter how well you speak in tongues. It doesn't matter if you make 100 mistakes today. Nothing is going to stop your new life from manifesting at the appointed time. I kept asking God, okay, what am I waiting on? What's going on? Let me know if it's something I need to do. Let me know if I'm the one that's standing in front of my promise. And I would say, God, what am I waiting on? And before I could even finish my thought, before I could even get the words out, he continues to say, the appointed time, the appointed time, the appointed time. And I'm like, what? You are the only living God. You can move whenever you so please. And you're saying that I'm waiting on the appointed time? Listen, that does not always feel good to hear the appointed time. That doesn't always feel good to hear it's going to happen and it's happening soon. It's going to happen and it's happening now. And then a day passes by, 2 days pass by, a week passes by, and it still hasn't happened. But God says it is because what he's doing is a surprise. I wanted to surprise my son. I wanted to hold out for as long as possible, confirming for him that we were going to this place. Not to be mean, not to be ugly, not to be funny, but simply because I wanted to surprise him. Even when I seen him getting antsy, even when I seen him getting anxious, even when I seen him getting upset, when I seen him doubting whether or not we would even go, on the outside, I would say things like, you need to just relax. You need to just wait. We're going to go. I already said it's going to happen. Just wait. But on the inside, I was kind of chuckling a little bit. It was a little amusing for me because I knew I wanted this thing just as bad as my son did. I wanted to see him smiling. I wanted to see him with joy. I wanted to see him running up and down that place, having the time of his life just as bad as he did. I remember we were watching a movie some time back. We've seen this movie before. And of course, every movie, every show, every book, there's always like a plot twist. Or there's always this moment in the storyline. I'm watching this movie and I'm into it. And it just seems like There was no coming back. And I'm really just sitting there thinking like, oh, I wonder how they're going to do this. I wonder how they're going to do that. This seems impossible. That seems impossible. And then I remember it hit me. I'm like, hold on, I see. First of all, this is a whole movie. It's not real life. And I've seen this before. I know how the story ends. I know that it didn't end here. And I know that you've watched the movie before. And things just start to look so bad that it's like, oh, this must be the end. You're truly sitting there trying to piece together, how could it possibly work out? Just completely losing touch of reality, completely forgetting the fact that this is a movie. And so the minute that the thought crossed my mind that, wait a minute, the story didn't end here. They did do XYZ. They were able to do XYZ. God spoke to me and said, what's a good story without seeming opposition? How many times have you heard somebody's testimony and from beginning to end, it was a cakewalk? From beginning to end, they never encountered any huge problems, any impossible problems. Not just a problem, but an impossible problem. And so it hit me. There's a story in the detour. There's a story in the so-called failed attempts. There's a story in all the slip-ups, all the setbacks. There's a story in all the times you turned back. It hasn't been perfect for a reason. It hasn't been slow and steady for a reason. And it's the good and the bad that comes together and forms the perfect outcome. What is a perfect outcome without any seeming opposition? So God is saying, do not allow the enemy to trick you into thinking that you aren't as close as you feel. Do not get discouraged. Do not allow the enemy to come and tell you that it's really not happening for you. Do not allow the enemy to cause you to believe that God is going to only disappoint you again. God says this time you will not be disappointed. In the past, you may have thought that you heard him incorrectly. You may have missed one key detail. It may have seemed like God set you up to fail. But God is saying that was always a part of the plan. It wasn't to discourage you. It wasn't to make a joke out of you or for God to put you in a place where things don't work out just so that he can see how you will respond. It wasn't a test. It was only a part of the testimony. It was only a part of the seeming opposition. When I went a different direction than what my son thought we should have went, in his mind, things were not going as planned. In his mind, his faith wavered, thinking whether or not we were truly going to go. But I knew what was going on the whole time. God knew what was going on the whole time. And whatever it seemed like failed, whatever it seemed like the enemy was able to snatch right from up under you, know that God is only going to replace that with better. If it was 10,000, God is going to replace it with 20,000. If it was a higher position at your current job, God is going to replace it with your dream job. God is going to replace it with your own business, a successful business, a thriving business. Do not allow the enemy to cause you to cry over spilled milk. Don't allow him to get you so caught up in what didn't work, why it didn't work, what did I do wrong, what did I hear wrong, that you forget that greater is ahead. There is greater ahead of this. What you're walking into cannot compare to anything that you've once experienced. This is a whole new life. This is a total restoration.